want to share a little testimony here. I grew up in a Christian home in Northwest Indiana, was born again at the age of 12. Through a series of events as a senior in high school, I gave my life to the Lord, surrendered my life to full-time service. Then as a sophomore in college, on a Thursday afternoon, graduation day, my preacher calls, Dr. Vogelin. He calls and he says, "Jim, are you interested in going to Pastor Clark's in California for the summer to intern?" As a Bible college student, gave him the answer, "I'll pray about it." Knowing in my heart that I had 2 or 3 jobs lined up, that summer I was planning to make a good bit of money, put some away in that. It was 2 o'clock. He says, "Well, you got to let me know by 6. I need to let the preacher know." So I had 4 hours to pray, and I didn't really intend to pray. I intended to kind of let it go. And so I called I was actually right up above my dad's shop, and I went down and I said, "Dad, he asked me about going to California." My dad said, "Well, did you pray about it?" You told him you'd pray about it. So I prayed about it. That was Thursday night. I went and told my preacher, and on Monday morning I was on a plane going to California for the summer. That was how I connected with him. Spent the summer out there with him, and it was a tremendous time. On the last Sunday of that internship, I tried to piece together whether he preached Sunday morning or his dad preached Sunday morning. One of them preached the morning, one preached the night. And that night, God laid the call on my life to become a pastor. And it is directly because of spending that summer with him and his dad and seeing their love for the Lord. And it was a blessing to me. So went back to college that year. Believe I had a different desire in my training. Finished up my training there in 2009 and was excited to go out into full-time ministry. But that's not what God led me to do. I was ready to go find a church and pastor, do what I could do. And God stuck me there for a while. I was in the bus ministry, was in the Christian school, a couple different years there volunteering to teach, and worked with the youth group and some other things throughout that time. And often during that time, I was asking God, why am I still here? I know you want me to be a pastor, but I'm still here at my church, at this church. What do you want me to do? And as I was going through that, asking God what was he doing, he was preparing me for the ministry that he had down the road. During that time, God used 3 men from the scriptures to teach me some valuable lessons and prepare me for the upcoming ministries that he had. Those 3 men, Elisha, Joshua, and Timothy. Tremendous young men to dig into and study. And during that 10 years that I was there, I learned so much from these 3 men to prepare me for that moment when God called me to McConnellsburg. During that time, my wife and I were heavily involved in the youth group. We went to camps and conferences with the teens, and we started this church back in 2019. We've continued that burden for the teenagers. And one thing that I've noticed over the years of being involved in youth group and teenagers and all of that is many young people, men specifically, will go to camps and conferences and come home feeling God has called them into full-time ministry, the young men into pastoring. And then they come home, everyone's excited for them, everyone's cheering them because they believe God's called them into ministry. But at that time, or as time goes on, that excitement of they were called into ministry by their pastors and their family and all that begins to wear off. And guess what happens in their heart? The call wears off too. And so as looking at young people and the number of young people that are called into ministry and the number of young people that actually go into ministry, there's a vast difference there. And that's burned inside my heart. And I know I'm not, one person's not going to change all that. But God, as my heart continued to go back to those 10 years between my graduation and the time that God allowed me to become a pastor, it was that period that was a period of training. There's many lessons that I learned during that time of preparation that I had to learn before becoming a pastor. And so with those thoughts on my heart and a burden to see more young men go into ministry, God laid a book on my heart called Why Would God Use Me? So my burden in writing this book is to encourage young men, any man, obviously, but any young person, to don't shortcut yourself. When it comes to training, let God develop you into what He wants to develop you into.
That's right. Amen.
Because there's a moment in your life that God's going to say, now it's time.
Amen.
Step up, and it's time to serve the Lord. But what you'll also notice along that way is you get to be a blessing and you get to have an influence on people through that training process. I think of different people in Indiana on the bus route, Grandma Millie that got saved on an Easter Sunday on our bus route, and she still faithfully attends the span. You don't know who you're going to impact in those years. Training's not just sitting there soaking in. You've got to give back too, and part of training is serving. So anyway, I wanted to give that because I'm releasing this book today. It's in the back. I've got a table back there set up, but I also was raised that in the Bible it teaches that to give honor to whom honor is due. And so with that in mind, can I ask you to come up, please? With that in mind, I want to read the dedication of this book. I think it's only fitting to do so. This book is dedicated to the ministry of the late Dr. Wesley Clark and Pastor Phil Clark. Their guidance in my life was influential to God leading me into the pastoral ministry. Thank you for your many years of faithful service.
Amen.
This is the first copy.
First copy, all right.
First copy.
Your wife didn't even get one yet?
No.
No. So I wanted to do that. I was nervous when he had his heart surgery that he wasn't going to be able to be here because I've been trying to get it done with this date. So, but anyway, I've prayed many times over this book while writing it and such. And one of the main emphasis of the prayer is that God would use this book to add fruit to the account of Dr. Wesley Clark and Pastor Clark because of the influence that they had on my life.